Welcome back to the Blindsiders. I am Ben, and I am here with Brian to talk about episode 4 of Survivor 45, and 2 for 4 here on the quits, Brian, on Survivor 45.
Yeah, so very surprising to me. I did not expect Sean to quit.
Hmm.
He didn't seem like he was the type of player who wanted to quit. It seemed like he was in there for the long haul. He certainly like schemed and played the game on Lulu as much as possible. But he wants what's best for other people. I guess I hate this line of reasoning that Hannah introduced and Sean kind of adopted, where it's like, I'm taking this experience away from these other people. Yeah, that's it's Survivor. You're ending people's dreams.
Hmm.
That's the whole game,
Yeah,
the whole point.
that's the conceit of the show.
Hmm. Hmm. Like, I'm sorry, but like, I don't feel bad for you that, these people want it so bad. Presumably, maybe not the case this season, but all 18 people want it very bad. It's $1 million. That's a lot of money.
Yeah, like maybe it's not enough these days. I don't know. Maybe inflation has really changed the value of money since the year 2000. So,
Hmm.
but it's America. We don't actually adjust anything for inflation here.
Right.
So
No. Hey, Big Brother did.
that's true, sort of. They
Sort
they
of. Yeah.
they went. they couldn't even go the full. They're like, yeah, we know 750K is a really annoying number to say, but
Yeah.
it's worth it to avoid having to pay an extra 250 grand a year.
I mean, the Amazing Race has $1 million prize. Big Brother can't. That's insane.
Yeah, but I mean, with Amazing Race, presumably, like unless you're like a married couple or something, you
Yeah.
split it between two people.
Right. Right. Um. Yeah, man. I don't know. I don't understand what's happening. When people are like, we're casting too many like white collar people. I was like, yeah, maybe. But now it's like, no, yeah, you're right. Let's have some people who like $1 million will mean a lot to them.
Well, that's the thing, right? There's been plenty of people who like have a lot of money or are like well off that like still play hard, or at least
Right.
like are
Jeff Kent.
committed to play the game. Like you have like even like somebody like a Dan Lembo, right? Who's like
Mhm.
a
Who's
uh,
sanitation
yeah, yeah,
consultant?
yeah. He has he does
Rest in
like
peace.
yeah. He did like Italian services.
Yeah.
Uh, he famously had very expensive shoes that Holly filled with sand and threw into the
Mhm.
ocean. Um,
Iconic
and
moment.
yeah, so like even somebody like that who is like extremely well off, like doesn't need to be on Survivor, is clearly not having a good time for most of the season. Like even he stuck it out until the final five,
Hmm.
and like presumably like honestly was in there with a chance of winning the season.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. I just don't understand the I don't understand it really. I don't know why we're getting two quits within the first week of the game.
Look, I have a probably what would be considered like a white collar job on
Mm-hmm.
this show. Like, I certainly like am very happy with my job. That being said, $1 million would do a lot. Like, I can't imagine getting a once in a lifetime opportunity to like play a game that's only 26 days. It's day 8, so you only got a little over 2 weeks left. He's not in the worst spot ever. He's not in a good spot for sure, but like, he's gonna make it through this tribal council, and then who knows what happens after that. And he just quits. That's disappointing to me.
Yeah, I mean, look, I know it's easy to say from the comfort of my home, but like, if I were ever to end up on Survivor, like the only way I'm leaving is via a boat or via Lifelight. So,
Exactly.
like,
That's yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how you fix this. Like I said, maybe you cast hungrier contestants, people who like really could use the money. Maybe you up the prize. I don't see that happening, but
no.
yeah. the
I
thing the thing is like they'd only up the prize if they were having trouble getting people to come on They are having trouble getting people to stay on, but not to come
Mhm.
out in the first place.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure after the season they probably did a little bit of introspection within the cast department to like say, hey, this is kind of unprecedented. So maybe something needs to be looked at here. I know people have said that like 46's cast, which is mostly leaked at this point, is like a lot more like traditionally blue collar style than this cast, which is it's a low bar. I would say.
Right.
Yeah, as we said, this was like the second youngest cast in the history of the show, and like there's like Sabaya was like basically the only blue collar worker on the cast.
She was a truck driver, right?
Yeah.
There's not even a firefighter on this season. Like, come on.
Yeah, I mean, even like the guy with the thick Boston accent is a lawyer.
Yeah. It is kind of crazy. I mean, I don't know. It kind of overshadows like the fact that the rest of the episode was pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Love that we had an actual for real swap. Weird distribution of the players on
what
the
can you do?
swap.
It's random.
Yeah, nothing you can do about it. Exactly. I thought going into the vote that it was pretty interesting that they wanted Sifu out.
Mm-hmm.
I was kind of wondering like why was Sifu, who's presumably a big character from the premiere, not really being shown much, and now he's going to get voted off. But I guess that answered that.
Yeah, definitely. It also answered why on I guess like presumably people before were like saying, oh, Sean is a straight man on Lulu, so like that's kind of why he's being buried in the edit a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
A number of people are like, oh, he got more confessionals in 4 episodes as a quitter than Natalie White did in Samoa. But it's like compared to the rest of Lulu for 9-minute episodes, he got like by far the like lowest average amount of content. Mm-hmm. For having gone to all 4 tribal councils that he possibly could have. He got like considerably less content than you would think. But that's why is because he quit. And because there was really no story to tell. The first tribal council he went to, they didn't vote. The second one was like basically unanimously getting rid of Brandon. Wasn't really even his decision. He was always like the second fiddle to Sabaya's story. In that tribal council, he got blindsided. He comes back in and he like gives these like obviously over the top fake apologies to Caleb and Emily. Then he gets swapped and he quits. So like, yeah, he has no story. Despite going to 4 tribal councils, he has no story.
And it's like, it's hard. We talked a little bit about it with Brandon, not someone who seemingly played like sports or like competitive activities in general. It definitely did feel like Brandon was there when it was good, and then Sabaya's gone, and then he gets into an unfavorable position on the swap, and he was like, well, okay, I guess I'll just leave. And you just want your players to have a little bit more fight in them,
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, like, I don't know.
You said, Ben, you aren't leaving unless you're voted off or a life flight. Like, if your back is up against the wall, you got to do anything you can to stay. We see it a lot more in Big Brother, where people because it's so long and because stuff gets really like locked in and very, very like seldom do we see a flip on the vote earlier in this season of the current season, notwithstanding. Players just kind of shrink and accept their fate, and it's annoying there. It's really annoying in Survivor because we've seen people get out of every conceivable position.
And as we see in this episode, like he's presumably going to be staying if he doesn't pull a stunt. Like D even still votes for Sifu, wants Julie to still vote for Sifu, and she doesn't.
Yeah.
Like if Julie votes for Sifu here, it's a 2-2-1 on the revote. D and Julie and Jay are the only ones voting because Sean and Sifu wouldn't vote because they'd be the ones tied between. And presumably they would keep their votes and Sifu would go. Like it was literally like this close to him still staying even after pulling that stunt.
Yeah.
So like, why?
I don't know. And I don't know why D wanted Julie, who was the only one who seemed like
Mm-hmm.
to want to keep Sifu. Like, why did D not turn to J Maya and be like, okay, we're still gonna vote for Sifu? And maybe she did, and J Maya was like, no, let's just get rid of Sean.
Mm-hmm.
But Julie didn't seem to want to get rid of Sifu from the jump, to the
Yeah.
point where I thought it was gonna be one of those situations where Julie's like, oh, I can't do this. We need to get rid of, J Maya. She's the weakest of the
Mm-hmm.
girls. I'm gonna go to Sean and Sifu and be like, we need to get out J Maya. That's what I thought was gonna happen before
Yeah, I
they
thought
went
so
to
as well.
tribal.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought that about like maybe like 20 or 30 minutes out, like when the second conversation with Sean happened,
Right.
and I was like, yeah, I think this is kind of what it feels like they're setting up, because especially with like the huge peak, I try not to read the edit too much, but you gotta just do it naturally, like this
Mhm.
big visibility peak that Jemaya has had, where she was basically non-existent on the season before
Yeah.
last night. So but yeah, no, it didn't happen. So I don't know. I guess my thing would be, and I said this in our discussion during the episode. I think the way to solve the quitting situation is to make people not vote out quitters, like,
Yeah.
or not make them. You can't make people not vote out quitters the same way that you can't make them vote out quitters. But like it's very simple. Like Dee had the right idea in my opinion. Obviously, like she's has egg in her face now because it didn't pan out
Didn't
right.
work. Yeah.
But like the three women should just have still voted out Sifu, and then whatever they get back to camp, or like after Sifu leaves, Sean is just sitting there and he has to either quit of his own accord, or he has to stick around and maybe quit the next time.
Man,
Like,
this is a solved issue. Survivor Amazon,
yeah,
there was Shauna, was that her name?
yes,
Shauna wanted to quit, and they were like, no, we're
yeah,
not voting you off. Like, quit if you want to, but we're not gonna do it. And
Chat as well.
granted, at that point, no one had ever quit before, so it wasn't like, as I guess, it's one of those things like the 4-minute mile, right? Until someone does it, you don't really know that people can do it. And then once Austin quit, everyone was like, okay, so that is something you can do.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, look, yeah, like you said, it's solved. Like people have done it before. Like there's no reason to give people the grace of voting them out if they want to quit. And it's like almost always strategically incorrect. Like it's so wrong. Like we joked about this in our first recap of episode 1, when we talked about the Hannah quit, and we compared it to like the wild gameplay of Zane Knight, who was trying to like meta this kind of idea of like, hey, if I tell everyone I want to quit, then they won't vote me out because it's wrong to vote out the person who wants to quit. But then they still obviously voted him out.
Yeah. His
But
biggest, as we said, his biggest pitfall was being the person everyone wanted to vote off,
anyways,
period. Yeah. So him giving them permission, everyone was like, that's fine, Zane.
Yeah. But yeah, like that's the way you solve it, honestly. It's like if people want to quit, make them quit outright. And if the rest of the players all like collectively accept that it's not correct to give quitters what they want, then I think this like trend might slow down. Because like if I'm in the spot of the 3 women in this tribe, we vote out Sifu, Sean quits, you're at the merge. You're at the Murgatory, whatever you want. Like you're 13. Like they've been merging at 13, or like they've been doing the fake merge thingy at 13 at the very least. Or at the very least, you're 1 vote away from the merge. If you're D and Julie, like it doesn't matter. Like you can get rid of J Maya. You didn't care about J Maya anyways. Reconnect with Zuru and Austin at the merge. They have like 14 advantages. Like who cares? Like who cares? It doesn't matter. Like you're basically skipping over 3 rounds of the game just by not giving Sean what he wants.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree. And who even knows what would have happened? Like they may have merged. They may have just swapped them down to 2 tribes with 1 person. Like in Korong, where what was it, Julie or Julia, whatever her name was, had to go sit on Braun Beach by herself for a little while.
Yeah.
They may have done something like that, where it's just like, well, we're still gonna do another round, and then we'll do the merge. But like, it just doesn't make sense because now you're going back to or you're going back to camp with a really pissed off Sifu, understandably, and that's gonna be bad.
Yeah, and now like, what's the like way to move forward here? You have to just like lose and then vote out Sifu again. Like you're putting yourself into a worse version of the same position you would have been in if you just like not capitulated to Sean for like throwing the stun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because now Sifu's gonna be like, well, fuck, like D, at least, and then like, why did you vote for me in the first place? It's gonna come out that they were gonna vote for Sifu at that tribal council, and now what? Like you said, you have to throw, but that Sifu's not gonna want to throw. So like, what do you do here?
Yeah. No, yeah, it's just worse. It's just bad overall. Like there's no upside to like to voting out Sean. It doesn't make
I
any
love
sense.
it for drama.
Yeah, of course.
Sick. Next episode's I'll have my popcorn. I'm gonna enjoy the hell out of it. But like, ooh, from a gameplay perspective, terrible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. I don't know. We'll see. It is interesting now that we have 12 people left in the game, and or no, hold on, we have 14 people. Yeah, we have 14 people left in the game, and 8 of them have not gone to a tribal council yet.
And yeah, 8 of them might not before the merge, straight up. Which I don't know, like, I'm sure there are other more stat-based historians out there, unlike us who are vibe-based apparently. But no, I think that's going to be the most out of first merge tribal council of like dip in your torch, right? Like it's just crazy how the numbers have worked out in such a way. Like we've seen really deep runs, like the whole blue tribe on 41. They all had to do that at the first tribal at the merge. Joe and Keith were immune for like as long as a modern season goes before the merge. It's very interesting with stuff like that.
Yeah, and I mean, like, I guess if you technically count Karor, I don't know if you count Karor. They also, I guess, voted out Willard in the double.
They did, yeah. They actually had to go to a trial.
Yeah, and same thing with Galu. Also had to vote out Yasmin. So
right.
Yeah, it probably will be if Reba keeps losing. Which they if they lost with Sean, they're probably going to continue losing without Sean.
Probably will. So that'll be fascinating to see all these players actually playing the game for the very first time at the merge.
Yeah, especially with the way kind of these new relationships have shaken out. I guess we can go to New Bello.
Let's do it.
I think is the most interesting of the three, kind of by default, just because the only one that has it's not 4-1.
I wish Dylan were on this episode because his boy is doing great. In great position, it seems.
I mean, in theory, we obviously are not going to know it if and until they go to tribal, which is probably not going to happen pre-merge.
Right.
But this tribe consists of Jake and no, it's not Jake. It's Brando and Kendra from the old Bello. It's from the old Reba, Drew and Austin, and then Emily is the sole old Lulu member. This is a really, really solid draw. Obviously, this is great for Emily, who is already like had a huge turnaround in her game and is probably like top 3 player of the season at this point. Like she's going to be a natural swing vote here. Both sides of both pairs basically talk about wanting to try to connect with her. We mostly see talking from Drew and Austin, who are already a natural pair, and she seems to connect with them. So like, that's very, very good for all 3 of them.
It's so funny because like, we've seen a lot where players will have mistakes in their first season and come back and then be like, I'm trying to right, the mistakes that I made. She gets the chance in her own season to
Mhm.
be like, this is a completely new way for me to start over and to kind of reframe how people see me. And now all the people who didn't like Emily are out of the game.
Yeah, and it's interesting. I don't know. Maybe it was from the journey, and maybe Brandon kind of told
Yeah.
people, and then that kind of spread to everybody else because it
Mm.
seemed like there was this pervasive idea from the other tribes that like Emily is like a horrible witch who everyone hates.
Right.
And everyone and like Drew says it in his confessional in this episode, like she just seems like a normal person. I don't know why is everyone so crazy about Emily? Like, what's wrong with Emily?
Yeah. So shout out to Emily for seizing the opportunity and reframing how people
Yeah.
think about her. Because now all that baggage from the first few days on Lulu are completely gone. Caleb likes her actively because she saved his ass. So like she's in a great spot.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and it's interesting how like it's almost like Pinocchio-esque, right? Or she like learned to be a real girl, and like
Yep.
she's like, oh, I know how emotions work now. I know how to just like have a conversation with people and like socially connect and be normal.
Yeah, I think, obviously everyone's very nervous when you start Survivor, and I think maybe
Mhm.
her anxiety kind of manifests as like a standoff niche, and that was a bad way to start. But I'm excited, man. I'm excited to see her go. I love this Austin, Drew, and Emily alliance. Like we'll
Mhm.
see. Austin and Drew, by way of all the advantages and stuff, they kind of came into this in like an unbeatable position.
Yeah.
Because Austin has an idol and Drew has safety without power. So Drew can just leave that first travel. If it was 3 versus 2, he can just leave and Austin can just play his idol.
Mhm.
And then it's 2 versus 2 no matter what. And they'll just be like, well, we're going to go to Rocks. Do you want to go to Rocks? Who's ever left,
Mhm.
So they lucked out pretty much no matter what. But hanging on to those things are much better. So yeah, just get in with Emily and see if you can
Yeah,
ride
of course.
this.
Yeah, I mean, it is like it is kind of like they have so much insurance that they almost don't have to play the game. But obviously, it's better for them too.
And they're on Bello Beach, and no one found the Bello idol. So
True.
who's to say they won't have another idol coming out of here?
Yeah, yeah, that could be interesting. I'm wondering if that'll actually come up. It would probably make the tribe more interesting if Kendra or Brando found it.
Right. Yeah.
Or Emily. Actually, Emily finding it would be I think really cool.
Yes.
But yeah.
Could
Yeah,
put a
very,
potential tribal council in a real interesting spot.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I do think that the Drew and Austin pair is probably in it for the long haul here. Yeah, especially with like how much focus they got in this tribe. I don't think is going to a pre-merge tribal council for sure.
Did we ever find out for sure if Austin's idol becomes a real idol if he doesn't have to sacrifice his votes?
I don't know how it's read. I think that like so. I assume like the way I would understand it to work is he has to if he makes it to the merge without going to a tribal council, he still has to sacrifice 2 votes in order to get it to the final 5.
Mm-hmm.
But in reality, he only has to sacrifice 1 vote because of his other advantage. So he could, I guess, pick and choose which one of the first 2 merge tribal councils he wants to sacrifice a vote at, depending on necessity.
Mm-hmm.
Or he could just use it at one of those first 2 tribal councils if he needs to.
Yeah. So that's very interesting to see. And the Lulu idol's just gone, it seems, with Sabaya. I mean, maybe he'll come back. But it's kind of nice. I kind of like the not having tons of idols to worry about and trying to track who has a vote and who doesn't have a vote.
Yeah, I mean, those are all 3 of the advantages in the game are just with that pair. So it's
Mm.
very easy to track.
Yeah, it was nice.
It makes it very powerful, but it also makes it easy for us to follow at home. And only going to Shipwreck Island one time in the first 4 episodes is
Good
good.
stuff.
I was very afraid that they were going to go every episode because they're like, oh, we have 90 minutes, we might as well,
Yeah, I'm glad they went with the like idols are more complicated to find versus journey.
Mhm. Yeah, no, I agree. I think it's been a decent balance. I do think that like the new idol rules are kind of hard to keep track of.
Yeah, like we straight up don't know whether or not we're right about Austin's
Yeah,
voting.
I mean, I guess we'll find out when it becomes relevant, if and when he ever goes to a tribal council. But yeah, it definitely seems kind of unnecessarily complicated, partially because of how it's panned out, where he isn't going to tribals.
Right. I think that's all I have for New Bello, right? That's
New Bello. Yeah, I mean, it was an interesting tribal. We didn't get a ton from them. We didn't really get anything at all from Kendra or Brando this episode.
which is weird.
Yeah.
I saw someone like Brando put that buff on, and then he disappeared from the show.
Yeah, I mean, I like I said, I think that it's probably just this tribe is not going to a free merge tribal council, so the dynamics on the tribe are not that important.
You just had to show us for the future that Brando had a relationship with the Bello woman, and presumably he'll pick that back up at the merge.
Yeah, and I do think that like the old Reba kind of core plus Emily might end up becoming a thing, which is why that kind of was shown to us. So that like trio of Drew, Austin, Emily might become relevant down the road. But yeah, I don't see them going to it. I don't see them losing a challenge. They're just too stacked.
Right. Yeah, it'll be very interesting to see. Right now it's 6-6-2. So the merge will probably be what 5-6-5-2 with the so 7-6. That'll be interesting.
Yeah, 100%. And I guess it also depends on if like Sifu is the one to go. Because if Sifu is the one to go, then maybe Reba can just like pull in Caleb and Emily, and then just like that 7 kind of just figures it out.
Right. Yeah. So we'll see. But easily the funniest part of this episode is new Lulu. I guess not funny. Bruce has a very emotional reaction to being back on Tika Beach, where he got medevaced like that. Like seeing the emotion from Bruce. Reminds it's real. Like even though it's a game, there's real stuff and emotions here, and very interesting. We talk about Big Brother. The Big Brother house has been the same for almost 20 years now. Survivor isn't like that, but now it is with Fiji. I'm trying to think. Probably only like Zeke and Michaela. They came back for Game Changers in the same place in Fiji. Then I guess anybody who won in the 30s who came back for winners at War or after 33. So like Adam, Sarah, Tony, Sandra. So yeah, there's like a decent amount of players who've played on the Fiji, Survivor beach again. But interesting here nonetheless. First new era player to have this kind of experience.
Yeah, and I mean there's been like in the past people returning kind of to the same places, like Micronesia was a reused location, and then like All Stars was also Pearl Islands. So like I don't know if there were reused beaches, but
Samoa.
Samoa as well. Yeah, so like
Russell and then Coach got to play on Samoa again.
Yeah, and you also have like Malcolm. So like there's So it's definitely happened a bunch of times, but yeah, obviously this is very different. It was also nice because for me, Bruce this season has just kind of felt so put on and so fake.
Right.
Yeah. And so it was nice for him to like actually show like real like human emotion that wasn't inauthentic. Yeah, so it was good.
Definitely. And Katora doesn't agree at all.
Well, I mean, he then immediately goes back into doing the Bruce antics, which are at this point pretty annoying. I
Yes.
agree with Katora.
She is so funny in this episode, man. Like, what a star.
Mhm.
And just shout out to the editors for setting us up with that time lapse of like her complaining about Bruce, and then with him pretending to lose the flint, and it's just from presumably that confessional, just her making a face at the camera.
Yeah.
Amazing. One of the all-time best like editing moments in Survivor for me.
Yeah, no, it's great. I love like I said before, I love one-sided rivalries. I love people just like not liking somebody and just like not hiding it really at all.
Yeah.
It's always fun.
Yeah, it's great. And I mean, I like Bruce and I'm happy that he's here, but like, yeah, man, you can't be doing bits all the time.
Yeah.
That's too much. Too many bits.
Yeah. Like if you're gonna do a bunch of bits, at least like change it up, right? He's doing the same. He's like he's got like a tight 5 and he keeps doing it. It's like it's like if you were stand on an island with like a mediocre stand-up comic and he kept on doing the same tight 5 over and over again for 26 days straight. Like, okay, at a certain point, like the jokes were funny the first time, but we get it,
Yeah. So tough, but good for Caleb here. I feel like this is a soft landing spot for him, just because this Bellow tribe seems a little dysfunctional. And worst case, they're gonna vote probably Katura out. Almost said Katara, like fucking Avatar, Last Airbender.
You're really excited, I guess, for the
the Netflix show. Yeah, I mean, hey, Danny Day Kim, love him, huge fan of him. So
I don't think they can possibly screw it up. So
the scripts are written.
Yeah,
just follow them.
I would assume so. I think that's what they're setting up here. If this tribe does go to a tribal pre-merge, which I think is possible, although I would say it's still like less likely, especially because we only have 1 or 2 more tribals here before a merge.
Like Bruce is very athletic. Jake, when he's not dying, is decently athletic, and Caleb's probably the best like challenge guy. Like, I'm very interested to see him in the post merge. We always say like the skinny but in shape body type is like the best for post merge challenges. So he could be setting up here for a decent run.
Yeah, I joked that last night was like they were just doing reruns for this season because we have somebody quitting randomly at tribal council in a situation where they wouldn't have been voted out, and then we also have a preview showing Jake collapsing again.
What is happening?
Yeah, the guy needs to drink some water. I don't know if
I don't understand, Ben. I don't get it.
Like the first time, the smoke inhalation, is he just keep on breathing into smoke? Like, let somebody else spin the fire.
He's gonna do it again.
Yeah, it's like a Goofy meme. I'll fucking do it again.
It's just so bizarre because you have like people who are very thin who've struggled. It doesn't. I don't want to say like Jake's not like in shape or anything, but like he's not like the type of player like Cole on Heroes, Healers, Hustler, who's like 2% body fat and jacked and just like cannot possibly get enough calories to sustain himself, so he passes out. Like you think going on to Survivor with a little extra weight would be perfect. That's like the sweet spot.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess did they make Survivor too daunting as a way to like cope with the fact that they cut the season down 33%?
Yeah, I mean, definitely no rice for 26 days is very difficult.
Yeah,
you're just not eating, and you're on Survivor, so you're not sleeping probably. You're just like raw dogging it for 26 days with some well water. That's about it.
You're just raw dogging nature.
Yeah. It seems miserable. I'll be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I guess maybe that's something they have to look into, if not the casting, in terms of like it. Have we gone has Survivor gone too far? Like I know in the past they frequently would give people parasites, and like, there's definitely been cases before where people have passed out and almost died
Yeah.
on the show.
I'm thinking that's why the water well is probably just like, gallon jug things just
Hmm.
dumped into it now.
Yeah.
Because like getting parasites, that will fuck you up. And
Hmm.
some players have talked about how bad it was for them.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, look, I don't really care how hard the like. No, I mean, I
No,
think
I
it's,
know.
it's important to say.
I
No, no,
thought you were gonna say I don't
oh
care.
yeah, I
Like,
don't care about them having parasites. No,
yeah.
I care. I obviously care about them having parasites, but I as a viewer don't care whether or not Survivor is hard.
Yes. No.
Like,
Agreed. Agreed.
so like it doesn't like that shouldn't be something they're like controlling for at like that fine of a level of like, oh, we have to make it harder. Like the only people who care are the like past players who are pulling the ladder up behind them and are like, it's way too easy these days.
Yeah. And I don't know if it's just like, you don't even have rice, so you're not gonna fish because like that's a lot of work to catch probably very little unless you're like,
Mhm.
Rupert or Hatch, like someone who's very experienced at fishing like that. Um, it seems like they're just literally not getting any food at all,
Mhm.
you know.
Yeah, I mean, look, Caleb played the long game though by stealing the fishing equipment to Lulu, because he
Yeah.
stayed on Lulu, and now they have Flint in a fire.
Hmm.
So I mean, who's laughing
Hey,
now?
Caleb's gonna get in that water.
Yeah.
I was gonna. Well, Jake says he's a good swimmer. Maybe Jake, but probably not. He's apparently not going to survive
Hmm.
to the next episode, which is disappointing. My winner pick. I don't want to see him get medevacked
I
out
look,
here.
they I don't think they would show again if he got medevac, but maybe they would because they have before. I guess they've
Yeah,
shown people collapsing in previews, and then they do end up getting medevac. Yeah.
yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see. But like you said, the people who have played Survivor before and are now like Survivor so easy. I remember Rupert bringing in like 20 fish at a time.
Mhm.
Like that's more than these players are eating the entire season.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I think easier said than done. I think the faster schedule as well probably leaves a lot less time at camp to like forage for food and fish and stuff like that.
You get like on this style of Survivor, like 2 chances to win a good reward.
Mhm.
Like we are robbed of Jeff, listing out the Outback Steakhouse menu like he used to do. He doesn't do that anymore.
Yeah, well, they have Applebee's now.
That's true. Yeah, right. The half merge feast. Yeah, back in the day too, all of you merge players get a feast.
Hmm.
Not
Yeah,
anymore.
yeah. Now you have to earn it somehow.
Yeah, somehow. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, at least the auction is apparently in this season, so at least they'll have a chance.
Hmm. Yeah, and hopefully they fixed it so that they say right up front, hey, there's no advantage you have to save all your money for.
Yeah, I mean, these players are so hungry, like maybe it wouldn't even matter, but yeah, you're probably right. It would be like all of them just safe to the end.
Hmm.
Although very iconic was like Jen Brown in season 30 being like, what's wrong with these people?
Hmm.
Like letting me win everything.
Hmm.
Or
Yeah.
was it Trish and Kagayan who called everyone fuddy duddies? Or not?
Oh, well, I mean, when did uh when did like the meta start of like saving all of your money? Was it Cagayan?
Yeah, so I remember Malcolm on Caramel and was like, I'm gonna save all my money, and then immediately spent $20 on beer and peanuts.
Mhm.
And then he bid the rest on an idle clue that he didn't even end up getting.
Mhm.
Cochran got like the advantage, but didn't spend all of his money on that. 27, I don't think there was an auction. So yeah, I think 28 was the first time we saw people having to draw rocks for
Mhm.
the which is Tasha, Spencer, and Tony, right?
Yep. Mhm.
Yeah. And then and then the Worlds Apart one was kind of not exciting because everyone was just holding their money.
Yeah, I mean, it did end up driving a lot of the drama into the end game,
Yeah.
where Mike kind of pointlessly burns a lot of his social connections in the auction, and then ends up on the back foot for the rest of the game and has to win out. Yeah, I don't know. I think that 30 or what is it, 12, 30? How many seasons? 15 seasons later now. So 17 seasons after, we finally got to a point where the auction can be refixed to how it was before.
Yeah, Australian Survivor has had some very good auctions in this time. There was one where a guy won an advantage that he won a duplicate of whatever anyone else won at the auction.
Mm-hmm.
So
Well,
he
like
was just like rolling in it by the end of it, you know?
there's like some like okay, like within auction kind of small advantages
Mm-hmm.
that are funny. Like there's ones in the past that were like send somebody to Exile Island and they
Yeah.
can no longer participate in
And
the
you
auction.
take all their money.
Yeah, it's like, wow, that's really shitty.
Yep.
But at least it doesn't like make people save their money for an advantage for the last round.
Yep. That was extra funny because Natalie was like, I don't know why he's mad at me. He can go find the idol on Exile Island.
Yeah.
Micronesia, so good. Such a good season.
Yeah. I guess anything else? I guess from this we see like Jake trying to pull in Caleb at the they go off in the woods and talk, and Jake is like, yeah, I got you, it's not as simple as it seems, kind of vibe of like, we're not just gonna stick 4-1 necessarily, wink wink.
Yeah, and Katara just being like, oh, I hate Bruce so much to Caleb.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So we'll see what happens there, if anything comes of it, which probably will not. Yeah, other than that, cool new challenge. I liked this quite a bit. Not ending in a puzzle. They heard us literally from last episode.
Yep.
Complaining about everything ending in a puzzle.
Yeah, right after it stops mattering because they swapped tribes.
Yeah. I don't know if Emily, Sean, and Caleb could have hoisted that by themselves.
No.
Probably not, I would imagine. Maybe like, you sub out Sean and Sifu. Maybe those three could have done it, but yeah. I don't think the three Lulus could have done that themselves.
Maybe that's why they needed to do the tribes talk. They're like, this challenge is not designed for 3 people. We did not think this through.
Oh man, I did think it was extra funny too because they're like, oh, we don't really need Sifu, but Sifu was the only reason that the tribe was anywhere close to the end. He's a very strong guy, and he had 2 made shots at the end.
Yeah, and I think they like theoretically could have won the challenge if Julie had been like even a modicum faster of like untying and retrieving the balls, because like she was going extremely slow.
Yeah,
like to the point where I'm like, why is Julie doing this task? Like you couldn't have had like send D. Like, what are you doing?
No,
send anybody.
I agree.
Yeah.
Oh man, but yeah, good for Caleb getting the dub here. Good for Emily; she was very emotional, which is fun. Yeah. Other than that, it was still a good episode despite the end. I think that's how I feel.
Yeah, same as the premiere, in my opinion, right? Like,
right,
like 90% really good, and then the 10% at the end was kind of a little wet fart.
Yeah, if we get anyone else quitting though, that's gonna be bad.
Yeah,
I don't think anyone else will.
I don't think so either. But I didn't expect Sean to.
Right.
So we'll see. But I mean, look, I I'm not like that upset that Sean left. I don't really think that he was adding that much, anyways. So similar to Hannah, it's like, I mean, it sucks for like 10 minutes, but I think long term the season will probably be better off for it. And like you said, there's going to be drama with the D vote next week, so I don't know. We'll see. It definitely kind of feels like small bad moments that hopefully won't hurt the show or the season.
It would definitely be a very weird pre-merge to look back on. I feel like,
Yeah.
like, oh, that was so weird. We had 2 people quit. Like
Yeah.
there, we had like 8 people not go to tribal council.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see.
Yeah, definitely a unique season so far. We complain about like these new era seasons not really like standing out on their own or like having unique identifiers to them. But this season definitely feels unique in the new era.
Yeah, I mean, if nothing else, is the first one with a swap that now immediately puts you in your mind like, oh yeah, they swapped on 45. That was interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, until they swap on 46 as well, and you're like, oh, which one was it?
Hopefully the buffs will be like significantly different colors from here, like what yellow, red, blue, maybe like orange, green. I don't know.
Do we know?
I'm sure someone does.
Yeah.
It's gonna be the same again.
Let's see. It is what the heckington? It's on 11 at least purple. And
okay, that's good.
My Google is being very slow.
So anybody who doesn't want to hear about the colors, fast forward like a minute maybe.
One of them looks like kind of a aquamarine-ish color.
Okay.
And it looks like hold on. They might be very similar to the 44 tribe colors. Purple, yeah, it's like purple, orange, green. So it's like
purple, orange, green.
Yeah, but the green is like kind of more of like an aquamarine. So yeah, it is like the 44 colors basically. So is that what they're doing? Have we not noticed that?
No, because 41 was yellow, green, and blue. 42 was orange. Orange. I don't know actually.
Yeah, okay, that's interesting. But I guess it makes some amount of sense. I guess it's easy for them to, I mean, primary and secondary colors exist for a reason. Easy to distinguish. But yeah, the green looked more like a cyan green, but yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. But yeah, well, anything else you wanted to add before we get out of here?
Nope. I mean, it was a fun episode. Outside of the ending, like Sean's exit interview thingy.
I don't want to. Yeah,
that was a lot.
Like trying to justify it, and it's just like, I don't know what to say, man.
Yeah,
you made your bed, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, like I could climb Mount Everest if I wanted to. You know what I mean?
That reminds me, not Mount Everest. What's the other one? Like K2 or something? Like the next one down.
Yeah.
I saw a video, maybe on Twitter, maybe on Reddit yesterday of like there's a point where you're like climbing over like an ice sheet that's like over this way, and I was like, no thanks. I don't think I could do that. And the guy like turned it, and it's just like straight down off like a ledge, just thousands of feet down. It's like I don't personally need that in my life.
Wait, why would anyone climb K2? I feel like it's like basically just as hard as Everest, but then you don't get to say that you climbed Everest.
Right. Yeah. Maybe it's like you climb it and then you're like, I'm ready for Everest. I don't know.
I guess, but like I feel like if you can climb one, you can probably climb the other. I'm just speaking out my ass.
I don't want to climb out any of these.
No,
one, because I'm lazy, but two, because it's very scary.
Yeah, I mean, like I know that I know there is like a little bit of an exaggeration of how deadly it is, but like it's definitely like more deadly than I want it to be.
Yeah, right. And no one will feel bad for you if you die doing that.
But yeah, that's the thing. Like, I don't think any like who knows a single name of a person who died on Mount Everest. Nobody like it doesn't make the
Yeah,
news.
yeah, yeah. The only like time you ever hear about them is like when they're used as trail markers.
Mhm.
It's like, oh, that's really morbid.
Yeah,
Jesus.
yeah,
Oh man.
yeah. I have nothing else to add. Yeah, it was fun. I'm excited for the tribe swap, even if the tribes are also now again very lopsided.
Yeah.
And New Reba's probably going to lose the next one or two rounds, depending on how many there are.
Mhm.
Um, and I don't know. I guess I'm interested to see if Sifu just gets like unceremoniously voted out with like a little bit of a blow up, or if like he blows up, something crazy happens. Maybe J Maya,
Mhm.
catches a stray. I have no idea.
Yeah. We'll see. Do you want to plug your Twitter?
Yeah, I mean, you can find me on Twitter. I've been sharing. I've said it before. I don't really tweet. I tweet maybe like once a week at most.
Yeah.
So, but yeah.
It's healthy. It's
Hmm.
horrible. Everything's just so horrible.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
not Survivor 45. It's pretty good so far.
No, I got back into. I play Candy Crush now because
Okay.
my other, my like mindless thing I would do in my phone when I multitasked before was going on social media.
Yep.
But now I hate all of social media for the most part. So I'm just like,
Mhm.
okay, let's play Candy Crush instead. That doesn't make me want to, like end my existence on this
Yeah.
planet. So
To want to make you climb K2.
yeah.
Oh man. Oh, that's gonna make a dark joke. Doesn't make you want to pull a Sean, you know what I'm saying?
Oh my god.
Anyways, or Hannah for that matter. Anyways, you can follow me on Twitter for more off-color humor like that. It's the fake BMR, it's BMARR. And other than that, main channel, we could get everything. Sports channel, we could get sports. This channel, Better Radio, where we put up our podcasts.
Mhm.
Um, excited to see who gets evicted. Well, I mean, not
No,
not a
we know who's getting
question. We know who's getting evicted,
It's going to be interesting to see who wins HOH and if it's going to be
yeah.
Matt and Jag again, and if they just
Which is definitely to the point where it's like, do I have to watch all the episodes this week if Matt and Jag win? I don't know.
yeah.
Yeah, that's where we're at in the season.
Yeah, I mean, I'm at this point just like all in on Cerise somehow figuring out a way to win the season.
Yeah,
Unlikely, but
I'm very
yes.
delusional. I'm like, she's got to pull it out, man. Just wait.
I
Suri will
mean,
get in there.
I think it's a pretty high likelihood she makes final three.
Yeah,
And like, can she win part one or part two of a final HOH? Probably not.
yeah,
But who knows if she can like if part one or part two is like the one competition that Suri actually somehow magically pulls out in her 15-year history of reality TV, and then like part three is basically a coin flip.
I think it is more likely that she works them for the whole week and convinces them that they can't win against each other.
Yeah, I think that's like probably the out.
And if she can pull that off and win, ooh, amazing.
Yeah, definitely redeemable. But yeah, right now it definitely feels like a frog march to a Matt Jag final two.
Fun stuff. So check out the Have Not Room. We'll talk about that. We've been having
Eventually.
schedule issues
Yeah.
lately. Sorry.
Yeah,
So
we had life issues, and then I think all three of us at a certain point had been sick somehow in the last 3 weeks. I had a wedding, and then we had other personal issues. Like it's just been a nightmare trying to schedule. And like even this, like we Brian and I had to do this without Dylan tonight. But yeah, I mean, this isn't our full-time job, so we have issues scheduling here and there.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, subscribe. We really appreciate you listening to all of our shows, and we will see you in the next one.